Okay, I am live and on camera now. Let me get myself situated. And let's tell the Discord crew I am there. And let's just confirm you can hear me. One second. Okay, Discord crew knows I'm there. I think you're hearing me, yeah. Okay, we have some interesting, I don't know, it's going to be a relaxing stream, nothing too crazy going on. Some things I do want to show you. Let me, yeah, let's see, what's the easiest way for me to do this? I will need to do a little bit of setup here, so give me a minute. Man. Let's close some things here. And let's just double check the stream. And so I can actually see the comments. Okay, it's going. Oh, we have someone. Adhere him. Adhere him? Okay. Okay, looks like that is actually working, so I'm feeling good. And there's a bit of something caught here. Let me get this out. What is this? A little piece of lint is resisting all efforts to remove it. Whew, okay, got it out. Got it out. Hey! Good to see you, my friend. Let's see, can I actually, I wish with my new setup, there's no way for me to show the comment on the stream. I'm researching ways of doing that. But it's good to see you all. Oh man. Yeah, just let me know if the audio is working. MX said 1916 is here. Good to see you. Good to see you. So let me tell you what. Okay. This is a long story. So I've been telling you, I've been creating all these tools for, I mean, we'll talk about many things, but I've been talking about these tools I've been creating to test pressure and to manage my tablet inventory and show you the lists of Wacom compatible pens and tablets. And in some cases, I've written some code, and everything you're seeing is only what I wrote by hand. In some cases, it's what I wrote, but it's been enhanced with some AI coding. And in some cases, it's almost all AI coded. And I was doing so much of that, I actually ended up, I was going through different tools like Gemini or Anti-Gravity, which is the IDE, Codex, Cursor, GitHub Copilot, but the one I have loved the most is Claude. And in fact, I loved it so much, I actually, I am right now signed up for $100 a month plan for Claude. That's how much I'm using it. And it's not just coding, there's other things you can do that's really been helpful for me. But I wanted to show you something that I built with Claude today. Now, I know, it seems a bit odd for when I say I built, because in fact, in this case, Claude did all the work, okay? It did all the work. In fact, it is literally working now as I'm talking on doing things. In some cases, I haven't even typed messages to it. I simply spoke through a microphone to make it do things. And my role has been, I think, twofold. Reviewing what it said, asking questions, asking it to try different directions. Sometimes just, because I have familiarity with, what's the right phrase here? Some of the code that it's looking at. So I said, hey, I think this is what the code, it's like a reference material. I think that's what it's actually doing. You may want to double check what you're trying to do. And it's, been responding to that. Oh, I heard my own voice somewhere. My stream is actually on. Let's let's pop out the chat so I don't need to. There we go. Pop out the chat. Okay. Whew. So yeah, that's what's going on there, and I wanted to show you something I built. Okay. And as often happens with me, I have one goal in mind. And by the way, this is all drawing tablet related. Don't worry, this is not going to be like random coding. It is highly drawing tablet related. So I use a lot of drawing tablet drivers, as you can imagine. Huion, Wacom, XPPen, SenseLabs, blah, blah, blah. And I have all sorts of complaints about them. Right? And I do honestly believe that they are kind of complicated. They are kind of complicated. Now, some of that is probably because they have to be, because, especially in Wacom's case, over 40 years, people have. Oh, definitely, Trung. Claude Code is good, but it is expensive. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. So I've always fantasized about, for example, Huion, not to pick on them because they really improved their UI. But let's pick on Wacom for a second. And let me go back to what I was saying. Wacom's probably had professionals that have used their tablets for 30 years, and they're like, well, for whatever reason, they like it the way it's set up. They don't want to change, or it's a very unique, strange setup, right? And in some cases, I think there are decisions that were made 30 years ago that still just linger, okay? Now, Wacom tried to address this with their Wacom Center, which I think it's visually pleasing, but it's also got it's got almost all the complexity of the past, okay? Like, it carries a lot of features with it. Huion has improved the look of their UI, even though I think it's got a few bugs. The V20 UI, so I actually still think people should use the V15. XPPen has revised the look of theirs, but it's still like grounded in some older patterns. What I've always wanted to do is create. Yes, I could just create some mock-ups and say, hey, Huion, XPPen, SenseLabs, this is what a good tablet UI should look like. And that might be useful, but I don't think it's very hard, to look at a mock-up and see what it's really like, to use it. It's really difficult. And yes, I could do something further and build almost like a simulation of one that's sort of functional, like a quick prototype, so you can sort of click through it, but it wouldn't really work. Like, it wouldn't, if you wanted to test the pressure, it wouldn't be able to do anything for you. So I struggled with this. I really wanted to show, hey, this is what I wish it was like to use a tablet. And let's see, MXEd says, I never understood the Wacom Center. It has exactly the same options as the regular driver interface. It makes it more weird. Some of the options are hidden in an advanced menu. You have to click. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I agree with your sentiment completely. There's much more in my mind, like, I have to go further, deeper, click more to get to things, okay? And again, I'm sure there's a good reason for this. Let's see, what is this? I get the subtitle. Was it the honest subtitles are talking about the vibe coding? So I appreciate its work. I talked to somebody who left Wacom, who mentioned in passing that the Wacom Center was something he was, he wanted to push them to a more friendly UI. Totally get that, but I still find it very complicated. Now, so here's my challenge. I wanted to do something, and I wanted to show something beautiful. I could easily show you something ugly. That would be trivial for me. So I wanted to show a better future, a simpler future. I wanted to show a beautiful future. I was really inspired by what Huion did with their V20 drivers in terms of look. And I wanted to show something real, like something that actually was a tablet driver. But I don't want to build a tablet driver. I don't want to do that. That's hard work. That's for like people who are smart, not for people like me. So, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. To do all those things takes so much time. Well, one thing I've discovered in my vibe coding is, with Claude especially, if you have I was about to say if you have a good idea where you're going, but also it's true, you can just use it to experiment different options. And it will just happily do things. Now, I think it's good if you know how to code And I think it's good if you have some domain expertise and some experience, because you'll catch it doing, how can I say this? It will loop around the same problem for a long time. And sometimes its debugging skills are not the greatest. Like, it will try investigating 10 different things, and I'll say, why don't you just, this actually happened yesterday. It tried 10 different things to fix a problem, and I said, why don't you, we have so many buttons basically on the UI. I said, get rid of all the buttons, make it work with one button. And if it works with one button, then try the second, let's keep on adding the buttons. And finally it discovered, we've actually always had the problem, right? So, the problem is always in the code base. So it does take, it's good if there's someone in, hi Albert, good to see you. So I said, I worked with, I went through several things, but here's my idea. Remember, it's got to be the futuristic in terms of simplicity. It's got to be beautiful, and it's got to actually be a tablet driver. But I don't have the time to I don't have the skills really to make it beautiful. I have the skills to talk about how to make it simple, because I spend a lot of time with tablet drivers. I don't have the patience to build another tablet driver. It's not like you can take the Wacom driver and easily make it do something different. You can't rewrite its UI. However, maybe you've heard about some kind of driver where you can do things, which is called Open Tablet Driver. Now, let's clarify something with drivers. When we talk about a driver, we're talking about a piece of UI almost all the time. Click in the UI, click on the driver here. That's actually not the driver. The driver is like a process that's running, which is talking to the tablet. What you and I call the driver, what we click on, that's like the driver configuration UI. It's talking to that process. And the Open Tablet Driver team has written both pieces, okay? They have a daemon, which is the process, D-A-E-M-O-N. I suppose they say daemon. I don't think they say daemon. And then they have a UI. For Windows, it's some WPF.exe thing, which talks to it. And that's actually really useful, because anything can talk to that daemon simultaneously with their UI. You can have as many things as you want talk to that thing. It'll talk to anybody. So my first idea was, let me write just that UI that talks to the daemon, so I don't have to write the actual driver. Already that's a win, right? And so, there's more to this story. It actually works a bit differently from what I just said, but I want to show you what I built. Now, one more thing. I didn't write one line of code, okay? And everything I'm going to show you was built by me typing, sometimes talking to Claude Code in the last 24 hours. That's it. 24 hours ago, this thing didn't exist at all. Okay, and let's take a look at the comments. Salasart says, I would love to see what you could do, even if it's just an image or a couple of images. Okay, there's one more part 4. Now, this is some context and something I did. Open Tablet Driver is really a pain to set up on Windows. I have a document which is like 15, 20 pages of, you got to do this, you got to download this, you got to unzip it here, move it here, set this. It is a nightmare on Windows to set up, okay? And I think, I'm okay doing it, but I hate doing it. I despise installing Open Tablet Driver, okay? Every time I have to set up a machine with the Open Tablet Driver, I have to convince myself for a couple of hours to do it, because I'm gonna have to click and click and click and click. So one of the problems I want to solve, not really for my demo purposes, but for myself, is, can I just make it like I just click on things and it just fixes them in a way that works for Windows users? Because remember, that it's really complex if you're a Windows user, because you have to install plugins and drive another driver and set Windows Inc. it's just a mess. So I wanted to simplify that. Now, one more thing part 6 I want to say is, the Open Tablet Driver team is actually they're actually in the process, I think, of rewriting their UI. I haven't actually seen it. I think I saw it for just a brief second, but the UI didn't render correctly for me, so I don't really know what they're planning. So the first thing I want to clarify is, nothing I am showing you has anything to do with what the Open Tablet Driver team does. Okay? Nothing. And it's not intended to be. This is just a tool for me. If you want to use it, you're more than welcome to. but it's totally unsupported by the Open Tablet Driver team. It's actually even unsupported by me. I'm the only customer, the only user of this thing. But if you want to try it out, I will use it because it's simpler for me to set up. Like basically it's minutes, not even a minute. It's like click, click, click. It just works. Okay. So I'm going to show it to you. I know I've been talking. Let's show it to you. Okay. Let me figure out where I'm at here. Okay. Give me a second. Because I have never set this up yet. So I have to add. You're going to see Claude Code come up, hopefully, in just a minute. Let me put the side by side. Let's take a look here. Display capture. Again, I have never done this. Now, if the stream crashes, well, we'll see, right? Okay, that's not quite what I wanted. Oh, sorry, you don't see it yet. I want this thing. Yeah, okay. And I'm on RCV. Do you see it? You see this thing here? You probably see it on top of him, right? Let's see. I'm gonna put it like right here. Okay? Now it's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. You're just seeing Claude Code right now. You don't need to worry about me. And this isn't really the normal way I do it, but let's see if I can. Yeah, this sort of works. Okay, let me check my own stream because this is a weirder setup than normal. So I want to make sure that it is doing what I think it's doing. Okay, so just give me a second. And I'm looking at your chat messages as well. That's a channel content. I'm opening up the live stream as well because I want to see what you see. Okay, so you should be seeing Claude Code. And there's nothing exciting here. You can just see the conversation we've had for the last 24 hours, okay? It's been fantastic. I love Claude Code. I know $100 a month is expensive, but trust me, it's living up to the cost. It is absolutely living up to the cost for me because I am like on it. I sometimes have it on one computer, and then on another computer it's also on, and I'm just telling both things to do something at the same time. Okay, so let's just show it to you. Let's show it to you. Let's not. Everyone, let me just start it up. Give me a second. Again, if you cannot see what I'm doing, you just let me know, okay? Okay, here it is. Here it is. So this is, I call it my driver UX experiment. This actually works. Everything you're seeing here actually works, okay? And I'm not going to tell you the architecture of it, but it is actually hooked up to Open Tablet Driver. Okay? It's actually sort of, I guess, embedding Open Tablet Driver, you could say. It's actually built with the Open Tablet Driver source, right? So what it does is, in other words, this is like a superset of Open Tablet Driver, okay? So there is no installation. Just clicking on that exe is starting Open Tablet Driver because this is a superset of it. It has all the features of Open Tablet Driver. Now, just to be specific, it tells you what version of Open Tablet Driver code it's using, which is 0.6.6.2, which is the latest version. And the Open Tablet Driver has a daemon, that process, and so like it's running, so it will work in a second. I'll show it to you. And I'm just going to click restart because sometimes you want to, you want to just restart the daemon for debugging purposes. So it just actually shut down the daemon and restarted it. And then Open Tablet Driver also has its own user interface, this older UI, which is good because I need to do something weird in it to show you a demo, but I'm going to just show you how to bring it up. Okay, and click. It takes a second to launch, which I don't entirely know why. And it launched on another window, so give me a second. Here's the actual Open Tablet Driver UI as it exists today, right? It's pretty complicated, and it needs to be for its audience, right? So no criticism is intended. But look at this: you got output, filters, pen settings, tip settings, bindings. I don't know what does that even mean. Auxiliary settings with bindings and tools and console, and then all these menu items. Okay, I'm trying to avoid all that. I'm trying to avoid all that. I'm going to minimize this. Now notice both are up, and both are actually talking to the daemon. Okay? And by the way, the daemon is actually embedded inside this UI that you see. Okay, so the first thing, the idea behind the dashboard is, because OpenTablet Driver is very complicated, it's like a single place where you can see if everything is green, you're good. Okay, and everything here is actually green. Okay? The top thing isn't green, but it is good. It's just telling you what version it is. Okay? Then it says the daemon running, which it is in this case, because if this app is running, the daemon is running. And then it tells you which tablet is plugged in. So let's just test this theory. Okay? So this is a XP-Pen Deco LW. Okay? So I'm just going to unplug it and see if the middle thing, it should go not green. Hopefully it does. There you go. It says tablet, no tablet detected. This is actually one of the improvements I want in drivers. They'll always say tablet not connected, but I'd rather use the word detected, and that's deliberate, because sometimes the problem is they are actually connected by a cable, but there's some other issue preventing that detection from working, right? So I plug it back in. Count 1,000, 1, 2, 1,000. There you go. It's back. It's connected. Okay. And if I click here, you can see the settings for the tablet. Now we're going to get into the settings a little bit later, but let me just show you the other things. There's also the vMulti driver. Now vMulti is, it even says you need this for, what do you call it? You need this for pressure and tilt to work. Okay. It's another driver. And it itself, it's a pain to install. So I'm not going to demo it right now, but you can actually, you can uninstall it here, and then if it's uninstalled, this app will actually install it for you if you want to. Okay, so it takes care of something that's, again, download, unzip, put somewhere, run a batch file as admin. It does all that for you. Okay, and then finally we have Windows Ink, and that's a plugin that OpenTablet Driver needs. This thing, I have manually installed the plugin, but in the future, this will actually, it will pull down and configure the plugin, okay? So that's what it's got. So it's supposed to go one place, so if you're an OpenTablet Driver user, and again, the user here is me. The user here is me, because it's really hard to figure out if everything's set up correctly in one place. That was the goal of the dashboard, okay? A normal tablet user, like if you're, Huion, Wacom, you'd never have something exactly like this. But for me, this is super important. Now, if I click open here, I said there's tablet settings. I just want to show you, if I unconnect this, disconnect this, and I connect another tablet, OpenTablet Driver stores settings for each one. So there's one for the XP-Pen Deco L, one for the Wacom CTC 6100 WL, and they both have settings, okay? And we'll show the settings in a second. And for each of these settings, there's no easy way to have OpenTablet Driver switch, if you're using Photoshop versus some other app. However, you can save what I call snapshots of these settings. So for example, I said drawing in Photoshop, I can load these settings up, okay? But I'm going to delete this. But let's just take a look at, let's create looks like I lost the snapshot button. So I'll add it back later. It's not a big deal. I did so much refactoring with Cloud Code, sometimes the features were lost. And there's a console, which is not implemented, and an about, which is just, again, this is an experiment. This isn't intended as a replacement for anything. This is for me to test out some ideas, okay? So here's tablet settings, and or I can go to the dashboard and click on open for the current tablet. And so I'm gonna lead you down through this. First of all, you notice there's, what are the options here? Screen mapping, pen tip and eraser, pen buttons, filters, and JSON. Screen mapping is what we would just normally call mapping. How does the surface, what has the active area of the tablet map to your display? And in OpenTablet Driver land, this has to be set for Windows users to draw it to use it in a creative way. It has to be set to this thing called WinInk Absolute Mode. Now, let's go ahead, and remember, something will go wrong if this is not set correctly. Okay, so let's go into the old UI. Right here. No, that's not it. Where is it? I must have closed it. That's fine. Let's bring up the old UI here. Okay, and we're gonna go to output. Okay, now I just want you to, oh sorry, I have to go here and open up the tablet settings here. Watch what happens here, okay, on output mode. I know it's probably a little bit hard to read. I'm going to change the output mode from Windows Ink absolute mode to just absolute mode or relative mode, okay? And in theory, click refresh here. Oh, I need to click save. I haven't. That's nothing with Open Tablet Driver. You always have to click like save and apply, and it just drives me crazy. Yeah, I know there's a reason for it, but it does drive me crazy. Sorry. Ooh, sneezy. Okay, let's see that. Oh yeah, see? I refreshed it, and now it says not using Windows Ink. Pressure until it won't work. So it tells you something is wrong. It doesn't tell you to do anything, but look what appears. A fix button. All you have to do, if you see the fix button, just press it. It'll fix whatever the problem is. It will take care of it. Fix it. There's a little confirmation UI. Bang. So if you're just a normal user, you don't care about this Windows Ink absolute mode relative. Okay? You just want to say fix it. Okay? So that's the first simplification. There is no Windows Ink versus non-Windows Ink. It's just we're gonna always use Windows Ink. That's it. Okay? And if somehow you have you've used another UI to reconfigure your tablet settings, this will just fix it for you automatically. And I'm going to add little badges on these tabs that let you know there's a misconfiguration, so you can just quickly fix them all even. The second thing, which gets a lot of, this is just an idea now. This is me not solving a problem about Open Tablet Driver or any other driver, but an idea for simplification. Now, I have long, there's two things going on here, but one is very invisible to you, at least in the UI. The first is, notice it says area mapping, map tablet to display. And I have two monitors, okay? Two displays. And it says display 1, display 2. It doesn't even show you all this mapping UI at all, okay? Which maybe in the UI, and later I'll show it to you. Or have some way to do it. Most tablet drivers actually let you map to all of them simultaneously. Now, I actually think that's a mistake. I understand why that's useful, but I actually think it's, for artists, maybe a bad idea because it really shrinks your active area effectively for each monitor. So this is my claim. I think it would be better for people to always have your tablet configured to use one monitor, exactly one screen. Okay, so that's the only that's why this only gives you the two options, because there's two displays. Now, if I want, right now the mouse is set to display 1, which is not what you're seeing. If I move the pointer, you can't see it at all. Okay, you cannot see it. If I click display 2 here and set the display, then suddenly you can see it, right? Let me click set the display again, and you can see it. Okay, so that's the idea, and this all happens behind the scenes. And I haven't added the fix yet, so if you've configured it weird in some way, this will fix it for you. Okay, again, it's my idea to keep things simple, just only one display. Now I am going to look if I can add display toggle. I think it's maybe possible for me to do this. That would make, I know, that way you get to use all your screens, all your displays. You're not limited, right? Now there's another thing I said here earlier, which is it's hidden for you. What was that about? Well, remember I'm always about force proportions. You got to set force proportions. If you don't have force proportions set, your lines, your circles, everything will be distorted, right? Edbot, that's a really good question. That's a really good question for ultra wide. I will have to do something. Well, first of all, no tablet driver currently supports it well. None, absolutely none. However, because I have control over this, here's my idea. You tell me if this works for you. Okay. I could, in theory, say, okay, I've detected this as an ultra wide. You can have this automatically divided into subspaces, right? Or not, whatever your preference is, right? So I'm going to play. That's a fantastic question. So let me just write that down, actually. See, this is exactly why I'm trying to show this to you, because I get to try some things and see what they feel like. And maybe if you want, again, you can try it as well. Things that we never have the time. We would never convince Wacom or Huion to try this. Albert says, how much does Claude Code cost? They're different plans. Let me just look them up exactly. So basically, there's a pro plan, which is $20 a month. And right now, I'm on a max plan, which it looks like there are two max plans, or maybe there's one, but basically, for me, it's $100 a month. Okay. There looks like there may be a $200 a month, but I couldn't sign up for that. I wouldn't have signed up for it. I'm not totally sure I need $100 a month, but I think I'm gonna be using Claude a lot more. So that's why I definitely wanted to get it. Okay, I need to get some water. So just give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I am back. I'm not sure why the audio stopped, but let's start it back up again. Okay, let's see. We've got some comments here. You like that idea, Headbot? Hi, BitMajor. It's been a while. It's good to see you, BitMajor. Really good to see you. Salazar, I love what you've done. I do use mapped all displays because I have 6 monitors and talking to them too slow, but I'm weird about that. A hotkey for remapping the pen would be like, okay, so let me add that to my list of first ultra wide plus do support all displays. There's another feature people have always asked for, which is something like they want the tablet to map to an exact application. So I'm going to investigate that. I think it's very difficult to do. Map active area to an application. Right? That's a bit a hot request for a lot of people. let's see, a hotkey for remapping the pen. And by Salas, you mean you want a hotkey to switch between where the tablet is mapped to? Is that what you mean? I think please let me know. Or clarify what you mean. I'm gonna write down hotkey to switch between areas, screens, or areas, okay? So we can try all these things, okay? And again, no more forced proportions. It's just always for forced proportions, right? Because why would you want something that was not forced proportions? Though, if there's real interest, I can enable, non-artistic distorted drawing if you want. Okay. So here's another thing that happens where's my pointer here? With pen, tip, and eraser. Now in Open Tablet Driver, this has gotten easier, but it's still this. You have to go somewhere and do it. It doesn't work out of the box. My goal is to make this work out of the box. Pen, tip, and eraser. Look, there's that fix button, right? So there's something weird about how this is configured. Just press fix, and it's fixed. Okay. Now I know you're probably wondering, what the hell does adaptive binding tip, adaptive binding eraser mean? Well, that's just the new defaults for Open Tablet Driver, and now they just work. Right? And maybe I will add configuration for this. But you just have to keep, if you see something wrong, just press fix. And I'll probably even have a global fix. So it's like, it'll just take care of everything. So you know what tip and eraser do, if you have an eraser, right? Pen buttons, same thing, right? I don't think I hooked these up yet. I don't think I hooked these up, but just in case, I'll try setting them. See, look at the UI in the old UI, or not the old UI. This is the current UI, but I just wanted to show you that the current UI is a little complicated if you're an artist. It's like let's send this not the adaptive, but Windows Ink, and let's apply this. Save, apply. Notice you always have to save, apply. Hit refresh. See, then one of them is not. It's button 1 is set to Windows Ink button handler. Button 2 is adaptive binding, which is that adaptive binding is what you want. And then this yellow text, this orange text says something's wrong. If you see a problem, fix it. Gone. Notice also there's no save and apply. There is no save and apply. The thing just applies immediately, right? So that's another benefit. I haven't implemented the buttons yet. I will do that. There will be a separate tab called tablet buttons, because that's what this is. Or tablet inputs or something, right? We'll have that there. I hear dial support's coming in some version of Open Tablet Driver. Maybe this one. I'm not sure. So I'll learn how to apply that. Filters. Well, this is interesting. Open Tablet Driver has a lot of filters, and this really is not intended to just experiment with filters. This is really intended to make sure things just work for artists. So I added this filter section because that's what's in the existing UI. And this is non-functional. But my idea there is one of two things. Either, so Cube has a really good filter called Slimy Scylla, which does basically smoothing and some other things. My thought is I can auto download and install Slimy Scylla and then configure it to what artists need. Okay? And we'll talk more about what it does and the alternative. The alternative is I can just implement a kind of filter built in, which does what I need. Now, what is it that I need? I need several sets of things. I need a pressure curve, because the Open Tablet Driver does not have a pressure curve. Okay, so I'd like to have a pressure curve. You may have seen in one of my UI demos. Actually, I don't know if you've seen this, but so give me a second. Let me get there, and I'm going to show it to you. Okay. Oops, opened up in the wrong place. Give me a second. What is that darn thing called? It's called GitHub. I think it's called Pressure. I think it's called Web Pressure Explorer. Web Pressure Explorer. Yeah, here we go. Now it's not gonna work because actually it might actually work. Let's try it out. Let's see. I'll try to draw. No, this is not working. I don't entirely know why it's not working, so I have to debug that. But here's the Pressure Explorer. I think I may need to zoom out a little bit here, or redo that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, actually, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. Looks like there's some refreshing problems. We'll take care of that. So there's the curve. You can switch between this null effect curve or a flat curve like this, where you can move it up and down, or you can do a basic curve, right? Where you can move these things like this, right? And you can curve it. A few rendering issues. And then there's also, you can go to a sigmoid curve like this, right? Or you can just do a Bezier. Just go all the way to like a custom Bezier thing and move it around as much as you want, okay? So you can make any kind of weird curve you want. Well, some of these curves are not available in Slimyzilla. So I just thought, since I've implemented this, why see if I can bring that in, right? I think most people just need the basic curve. Honestly, I think that covers 99% of what people would actually do. Because 99% of the time, you need to do exactly one thing, which is, let me reset this thing here. You need to bend it down a little bit. And you might need to do this, and you might need to do this. That's really it. You don't really need, or maybe raise this. That's about it, right? That's all you really do most of 99.9% of the time. Okay, Salus, is it rewriting code? Albert says, when you press fix it. It is not rewriting code. It is talking to the daemon, and it's just changing settings, and the daemon just updates and says, okay, I'll obey these new settings. That's it. So fix it's just reconfiguring something. Okay, Salazar is explaining a hotkey to switch between the modes you set before. For example, set the mapping to only Cintiq, then push a hotkey to map to another monitor. Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah. So let me just clarify. Switch to the switch between mappings. Yeah, I'm happy to try that. Right. I can do anything. Well, I can do a lot. Get this. I could have the pen. Tell me if this makes sense. You know, sometimes you want to I mean, I know you can do this in the brushes, right? But maybe do you need to swap between pen pressure curves or what the buttons are set to? Like sometimes you want it to be left click, right click. Sometimes you want it to be left click, double click. We could swap there too, right? Or we could do. We could make the pen less sensitive to pressure, or do smoothing. Actually, we could do all sorts of little things. Which is my other thing. I want to add smoothing, right? This one does have smoothing, so let me add that in the list. A little bit of smoothing never hurt anybody. But that's a good suggestion, Salazar. So I've put that one down. Okay. BitMajor says, do XPpen have customized on-screen shortcut menus like Wacom? I don't think they do. I know Huion does now. If XPpen does have one, it's pretty limited. Wacom has the most complex. Huion has the next most complex. And then XPen's pretty primitive. I don't think they've gone all the way. I forgot what SenseLabs has. I could look into that, actually. Look into OSTs. Now, that might be really venturing into too distant territory, but I'll look into it. Like, welcome. Yeah, okay, I'll put that in. Let's get back to the app. By the way, again, this is just a WPF app. Where's that darn thing? There we go. Here we go. Okay. And then if you're just, one of these OTD people, if you want to see what actually, what's happening, there's a JSON tab, because everyone loves JSON. And you can actually see what the settings are. Because we hide a lot of settings, okay? You hide a lot of settings. But if you're really curious for debugging purposes, like, I can imagine someone from the Cube or somebody might ask me, like, you know, or they might be curious if they ever try this, like, what did it do, right? So they can investigate what the setting is, okay? So yeah, this is my idea. I'm gonna play around with a lot of ideas now. Now the other thing is, because I now have pressure curves and can do things here, it actually makes Open Tablet Driver a viable thing for me to use in my personal artwork, right? Because I hate installing drivers. Don't mistake it. I hate installing drivers. It just drives me crazy. So if I could have one that was easy, I would use it. And this might be easy enough for me. Now, is this public? Is this GitHub repo public? Give me a second. Let me take a look here. I don't think it is. What is it called? It's not Web Pressure Explorer. It's give me a second. Let's take a look here. Oops, you can't see. Oh no, you can. I can't see. It's called Tablet Driver UX Prototype. Is it public? It's private. I will make it public. I will make it public. I will say, again, just to be totally clear, I didn't write one line of this. Not one line. Okay? BidMajor says, makes more sense to swap pressure curves in drawing programs to me. Doing it in the tablet drawer just seems overcomplicated instead of just custom. Yeah, that's a great point, BidMajor. Like, there's a line we cross sometimes when we try to put too much in the driver. I think the driver, as I've said, if you're gonna have a pressure curve in the driver, you should just fix fundamental problems, like pressure's unstable or you can't press hard enough. If you want to tweak behavior, do it in the app. Some amount of smoothing is actually good in the driver because that all apps get it, right? All apps get it. Oh, which reminds me, I can take a look at per app settings. In theory, I can do what every other driver does, which is examine what the app is running is doing, and change. So I'll investigate. I think that's a priority 3, to be honest, priority 3, because that's complicated, and I think most people probably don't need it. If you're using this, you probably are okay. But yeah, this is my idea. This isn't intended to be the Open Tablet Driver UI. This is really intended to help me test things, because it's so irritating for me to install Open Tablet Driver. Like, every time someone asks me to do it, I am absolutely I delay it as long as possible because I hate uninstalling the old driver, rebooting, running the tablet cleanup utility, installing all the binaries, putting in the right place, registering these things. It's a nightmare. This will solve almost all of that for me, right? And pretty much it'll make my testing much easier. I can also use this more for testing tablet pressure, I think, because I think I have access to the data Open Tablet Driver has. Let me tell you what I'm showing you here. Let me show you what I'm telling you here. So in Open Tablet Driver, you have these tablet debugger, right? This is actually quite useful for doing certain kinds of things. But what's relevant here is I'm going to move the pointer here. You can see it move a little bit, right? I'll move it here. And you can see the tablet report, the position. That's actually useful. That's actually useful for testing. Super useful for testing, right? Don't worry about the blinking cursor. That's another problem, right? But you can check report rate. So these are the kind of things I might be able to add here, just as to help test, right? So you can say what's going on with your tab. Oh, there's another idea I had. I've mentioned this before, but I mentioned it more let me put my face here. Oh, let me hide this thing here. I've mentioned this more like a document. Okay, I know what my pens do because I measure them with a scale. Okay, so I know what physical to logical pressure is like, how that's mapped. But my idea is, I've always thought, what about people who don't have a scale and don't want to spend an hour measuring their pen and writing down lots of numbers, okay? Because just having those numbers doesn't even mean you're going to get a better result. My idea was always, okay, someone should press down to where they feel to within like 95% of maximum pressure, or what they want to be maximum pressure, and then press what they think is from their hand's perspective 50% pressure. And with those two data points, I can construct a curve which theoretically, according to your hand, will make the pressure curve feel linear. Okay? So I've always wanted to see, so at first I wanted a doc to do that. But I could, in theory, using the same technique I've shown here, have people go through like a wizard that tells you, put the pen here, watch as the pressure gets into the green zone, keep it there for 2 seconds. Now press somewhere else, but don't press half as hard according to your brain. And then we'll devise a pressure curve for you, right? Now I could do that without Open Tablet Driver, but it's another idea. Yeah, auto make the curve. Yes. Curve, auto. And we'll see. I'm always curious, like, what do people think? I've always thought most people should have a curve that goes, for you, it'll go like this, to the right and then up, okay? That's not to go extremely right, but I think it has to go a little bit. Let's see if that's the case. Smoothing. I've always felt that a little bit of smoothing will help you. When I say smoothing, I don't mean position smoothing. I mean pressure smoothing. I think a little bit of pressure smoothing will make your fine lines, it'll not slow them down at all. It'll just make them really smoother. With a little bit of a curve, a little bit of pressure smoothing will make your strokes really respond when you're drawing at light pressure. Wonder if, and Bitmajo says, I wonder if any of them companies include this in their drivers. By this, you're talking about the ability to like calibrate your own curve. If that's what you mean, I don't think so. I've never seen that. And again, it's an experiment. I don't know if it'll be useful, but that's what's good to have a platform like this. We can try different things and see what works. We can see what works, right? Now, I'll add a few more clarifications. Again, this tool is primarily for me because I have to test a lot of tablets. And I get irritated installing Open Tablet Driver because I have to install a lot. Number two, this is geared for artists. Okay, like for me, it's not useful for me to get a tablet and play Osu. I mean, I might like Osu, but like I have to draw things. So it has to meet that criteria that an artist would use it. Okay, like it would simplify the artist's life. Number three, this is, and I don't have any plans of changing, this is Windows only. This is everything, the problems that I'm trying to solve are Windows problems, like the Windows Ink problem, the vMulti problem. These are Windows problems. So it is necessarily locked into Windows, right? Yes, some of these improvements would be good to see, I guess, on other platforms, but my priority is Windows because that's easier to test tablets on Windows. So yeah, that's my first big update is this tool that I've created. Super happy about it. I think it's going to be a really fun experiment. I think in the next couple of days, I'll be able to make a lot of progress. I've taken down notes. And let me save the notes in my OneNote. So I don't actually, they're in a notepad right now. I don't want to lose it. Give me a second. Let me create my show notes. I always create a OneNote for every show, every live stream. That way I don't lose track of things. 2026, what is it? 0323. there we go. So let's see. This is suggestions for improvements of Tab UX experiment. It's ultra wide, support all displays, not just individual displays, map active area application, hotkey between mappings, smoothing, on-screen menu, per app settings, and auto curve make. All things we can try. I can make the auto curve maker. Actually, you know what? Actually, it would be better if I made the auto curve maker work with whatever tab that you have, right? Yeah, I think I'll do it that way. I'll do it like that one. That's a separate suggestion. Make it work with your existing driver. That should be much easier to deal with. That shouldn't be hard. Let's see. Let me just take a look at my GitHub to see if there's any. I've been building so many things, and we have more to talk about. Don't give up on me. We've got more to talk about today. More I wanted to show you. Yes, some of it's AI focused. Where's my GitHub? I always type in GTI Hub, by the way. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you this because I talk about vibe coding so much. I added a tool to my machine so that I can right click on any folder in Windows and say vibe code in this folder, and it'll open up. It'll do a bunch of things so that I can start Claude coding immediately in that folder. That's how often I'm doing vibe coding. What else? I've got so many like hello worlds about how to get tablet code working in different platforms. Oh yeah, I updated my sim. Yeah, I forgot the simulator. Hang on, I'm going to show you that. My pen simulator. This is a minor update, but I think it's actually pretty cool. Okay, so let me bring this over here. So on 7pens.com, let's see. Is this it? No. Is that it? No. Why is it not working? That's unusual. Why would this not be? That works. Okay, let me figure out how to show this to you. Give me a second. Why is that not going where I think it's going? Okay, hang on. Let's just double check. Buttons in the right place. Yeah, that's going to the right place. Let me try doing it manually. Yep, same problem. Okay, not sure what's going on there. You should be seeing another screen. In some of these, you should be seeing multiple things. But something is not... let's just check. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. That's okay. It's okay. We can solve it with my other technique. Not a problem. Just give me an extra moment. Okay, and then let me make it like this, and then turn on display capture. Okay, so this is my site, 7pens.com, and there's all these tools. I have more tools now, but I want to show you the simulator. The simulator has changed, okay? And, oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong window. Okay, here we go, simulator. Look at the simulator now. So right now it's simulating a pen tablet. Okay, you see it? There's a cursor here, and there's a cursor here. right? And let me move the. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Yeah, you can move the pen, right? I made this because lots of people, especially if they're new to tablets, they're confused about how the pen relates to the screen, right? Like what happens? You go to the corner of the tablet, it goes to the corner of the screen. So I wanted people to see what a pen tablet actually works like live, right? This is more useful for me to create a video. And I'm going to add a special mode, which is pen display mode. So essentially this monitor will disappear and you'll see the screen on the tablet, right? This should really help people conceptualize what's going on. The other thing I want to add here is what happened. I mean, this is stretching it. What happens if the monitor is is not the same aspect ratio as the tablet, and what force proportions actually does? Because this would help, I think, explain it to people, right? So yeah, that's my new simulator. The tablet's on a desk. You can still tilt it. Oh yeah, there's one other feature I'm going to add here. You see, to move the tablet, I'm using my mouse. I'm actually going to have the tablet respond to the pen live. So what you do on the tablet will actually be reflected on the virtual tablet in the simulation. That way you can it's a little weird, but you can sort of get what the meaning is. We'll see. It can be weird because there's 3 different pointers. There's the one on your screen, the 2 pointers on the simulation, right? So it can get mentally confusing what's going on. But this is another update I did. But yeah, this is a fun one. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about, which is this is actually AI related. It has to deal with. Oops, gotta hide this, don't I? Hang on 1 second. It has to deal with how these AI things create content for you. And I tried a couple experiments with Copilot and Claude and Notebook LM and Google Gemini. And I just found some crazy results. We'll try to do them live, okay? Just to show you what actually happens. So let's first of all try Notebook. So actually, let me back up. Let me show you the document of interest. So I wrote a document called, how to use force proportions, something like that. Okay, matching aspect ratios with force proportions. It's a long doc, and I want to update these diagrams, etc. But anyway, I was wondering, could I make a deck from this? And I wanted to see how good these AIs would do at taking something I wrote and helping me create some content. Okay, so it was a mixed bag, a pretty mixed experience. Let me show some of them. I'll demo for you, and some of them I'm just going to show you what happened. Okay, so first of all, let's show you what Notebook LM did. Okay, this is Google Notebook LM. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. That's on my drive. Yeah. Remember, this is about force proportions. Okay? Take a look at this. Oops, I opened up in the wrong window again. Because I'm not... Can I show this to you? I'm not sure. Give me a second. I gotta think about this. Why isn't this thing working the way I think it is? And you're seeing my face in this covered by this UI here. Okay, give me a minute. Let me experiment a little bit. AB. Why don't I see why? Okay, hang on. I have to take a look at a cable. Trace it. Okay, let's see what happens here. Unplug a cable. You know how it is. You unplug and you plug in. Then maybe if you do that right, just right, things will work again. Anything changed? No. Wow, okay, hang on. Let's try one more thing. Because it's just so much easier if this thing is set up to show it to you the way I think I want to show it to you. Okay. Scene builder. Allow. Laptop. Maybe I've solved the problem. Have I? Let's see. Nope. Yeah, something's just wrong here, isn't it? Okay, I may have to just... I can't do it in the stream because it'll interrupt things. But I may have to reboot the machine that's capturing the video from my other monitor. But let me see if I can show it to you some other way. So just give me a second. I should be able to. This is what Notebook LM created. When I gave it the doc, it said, create slides from this doc. That's all I did. We're going to talk about what actually it created and what we think about it. Okay, you should be able to see it in a second. And turn this on. Okay. So first of all, it's had really interesting graphics, I have to admit. But it really did not understand the topic, even though it's very misleading. In fact, I would call it slightly hallucinatory. It's a little too creative here. This first one isn't bad. It's just a little bit overwrought for what it is. Because remember, this is all about force proportions. It says, fixing the digital draftsman's disconnect. I love the art style, though. And I really appreciate the next slide it created, which it just got the point directly. Perfect circles turn into stretched ovals. And it actually gave this conceptual diagram. Now, the diagram itself is kind of nicely illustrated. It's a little misleading. It looks like there's a weird curving warp happening. That's not what's happening. But the spirit of it is interesting. Okay? You draw a circle here, but you get something that's an oval here. That's correct. It's a bit exaggerated, of course. And then they talk about... They actually did a good job here. Like, you need to fix it here for screenless pen tablets, but not for pen displays. Right? So that was useful. This was confusing. Its creation of this diagram was like... Because it rotates the tablet by 90 degrees this way. Like it's up in like portrait mode. Like, why do that? Kind of misleading. This kind of... I mean, they're not wrong here, but it's very misleading. The math is correct here. Or actually, the math is not correct here. Yeah, they're just kind of hallucinating geometry. I like this slide. It's clear. It's actually clear. If you do force proportions, depending on the combinations of aspect ratios involved, you will actually lose some area here. Another thing I noticed about this slide is they chose to draw... Let's go back for a second. You see this tablet, which looks like some unknown tablet. But this one... very much is an Intuos Pro style tablet. It looks exactly like a Wacom Intuos Pro 2017 model. Right? Very interesting. This is correct, but the diagram's very misleading. Like if you map the two monitors, you won't get this weird active area. It'll look thin, but not like this. Right? But the spirit of it's correct. And then this was good. Like I gave different examples of where you'd find the UI to fix this problem and the different drivers. And they came with this table. I thought that was actually quite nice. Like in Wacom, go here. In Huion, go here, etc. I love the diagram, but this... It just seems like this was a lot of text. It's interesting they chose to talk about this topic. Let me just read out the text because it was so unusual. Digital draftsmanship relies entirely on muscle memory. Does it? If your hardware quietly distorts your hand movements, okay, I like that. You are training your muscles to compensate for a machine's error. That's a really interesting approach to explaining this problem. And then in the box, surrendering a fraction of your tablet's active area is the ultimate upgrade to your digital accuracy. Lock your proportions and trust your hand again. I'm going to take back my statement. There is something kind of human about this. I mean, not human like I thought a human wrote it. There's something that touches what humans care about here. This is written in kind of almost emotional language, right? Surrender a fraction of your tablet's active area, or surrendering a fraction of your tablet's active area is the ultimate upgrade to your digital accuracy. That's kind of beautiful. Kind of hits the point too, right? You give up something to get something better. And the second line, lock your proportions, meaning force proportions, and trust your hand again. I love the humanity of that line. Precision requires sacrifice. So this is actually, I take back my statement. I like this. I personally wouldn't have chosen to gone into this kind of formulation, but maybe I'll choose to do this. Okay. Second thing, I love the diagram. That's really beautifully done, right? Now, is it relevant to what I'm doing? No, but it's beautiful. Let's not lie. It is beautiful. Can I take, oh, that's another problem with these Google Slides. Basically, you get a picture. I can't just take this out. I mean, with some editing in Photoshop, I could. But this is kind of beautiful. So I like, overall, I'd give it, I wouldn't give it an A. I'd give it a B minus. A would be like, I could just, stream it in front of you. Right? That's what I would say. Okay, let me just double check the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Salus Art says, just want to say, independent of what anyone says later, what you already did, it's awesome. Hope you can keep adding more slow. Yeah, I'm going to keep on just little bit by little bit, right? And it's going to be guided by people asking me to try things or me experimenting and just what it feels like. And again, very soon I will publish it, so you'll all have access to it. As long as you're willing to uninstall your current tablet driver and play, and you have a compatible tablet. Okay, let's try the next thing. Albert, I didn't know force proportions are so complicated. It is kind of complicated, honestly. It is. This is one reason why I think tablet drivers should just do it. Right? They should just do it. Because explaining the problems, first of all, the problems when you don't do it are horrible. And explaining all these little things about what's going on, it's just challenging. Just do it. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Okay, next thing. So we're comparing how several different AIs created slides from one document. Let's take a look at, so that was Google Notebook LM. Now Google Slides, I went to their UI and I said the same thing. Look at this. Here, I have to put this here. Create slides about this link. Look what it says. For now, I can only create and edit one slide at a time. You can actually add the slide. Useless. So inside Google Slides, you can't ask it to create more than one slide at a time, which is crazy because Notebook LM, which is by Google, made the entire slide deck. So there's a big discrepancy here, which is like weird. That is just weird. I was really disappointed by Google Slides here. So Google was like a hit and a miss in terms of providing me content. Then there was Google Gemini on the web, right? And this, I think this is the first screenshot. Yeah, look what I typed in. Create slides from this link, right? Here's what this, it says based on this guide from 7 Pens, which is me. Here's what it said. Here's a slide deck outline, and just gave me the text, and the text went on for a while. Okay? But actually, it didn't just give me the text. right? Actually, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this first. It actually, listen to what it says here. The first thing it told me is, since I am an AI, I cannot directly generate slides or a PPTX, even though NotebookLM did it. However, I can provide you with a structured app script that would automatically build this entire presentation in your Google Drive with one click. Oh, okay, so it gave me that text, then said, run this script. Like it gave me all this Python code, or I guess, not Python code, looks like JavaScript, to go run in some piece of UI on Google Slides or whatever. Who's gonna do this? In what world would it be acceptable for a normal person to say, create a slide deck? And the answer is like, here's some text, here's some JavaScript code, paste it in somewhere and run it. That's not, this was a D for me. It wasn't even average. This was a D. This was a failure in my book. Poorly done. And of course, Google Slides is a straight up F, right? Just telling me I can only create one slide at a time. That's an F. Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. Okay, so in Office, there's two ways to get Copilot. There's like let's say there's a top way and there's on the side way. So there's a panel on the side. Look what it did here. I think I have to go. I think it's in this order. It says, here's a ready-to-use PowerPoint deck I created. Okay, I'm liking the sound of that. Gathering information, has this diagram, which makes no sense. Then it says how to use it. Home, new slide, reuse slides. I don't think I even saw this. And then it created the text again, just like Google did, right? And look what it said. Here's some code. I'm like, what? Why are you giving me Python code to create this slide? I didn't ask for Python code. I asked for a deck. Right? It was just awful. So I'd give these guys a D. A D. Horrible experience with Copilot. And then remember, there's two ways in Copilot. There's one like at the top of the slides. You can say create slide. There, now here's the catch. This sounds weird. I tried giving it the URL. It's like, no, we can't use a URL. Just type what you want me to talk about. So I said, okay, talk about force proportions. Or Wacom force proportions. Now, there's good and bad here. The good is, and it actually gave me choices, what style of graphics. So I said low poly. It came up with a really pretty slide deck with all these beautiful, nice low poly. In fact, I want to use some of these. Or, I know that's Gen AI. I want to draw in this style. Let me say it that way. But I love the look of this, actually. But it's completely wrong in terms of what it's saying. Look at what it says. Wacom force proportions, leveraging consistent pressure for smoother creative workflows. Pressure? None of this has anything to do with pressure. Force proportions is about position, not pressure. So it's completely messed up its understanding of reality. Love this graphic. Love it. This is promising, the agenda. Key features. Love the graphic. But it's like talking about stuff I didn't care about. Wacom technology overview. I wasn't asking about the company. I'm talking about the document was only about this force proportions topic. And they're like going into like what the company does. And what their features are for artists. I'm like, I didn't ask for that. What are you doing? Finally get the force proportions. It's funny, it didn't, that's the meat of what I'm talking about. They didn't do any diagrams. They just have some text. Right? And it's overwrought text. It's not even clearly explaining the problem. Now then they say, this is actually quite nice formatting. Force proportion, 0% distortion error with, okay, I like that. Drawing and navigation improvements, okay. Before, unusable mapping, okay. Enable force proportions, session impact, trend. What trend? Why would you have to talk about trends? Then result fewer redraws. I mean, I guess that's true, fewer redraws. And they add in unrelated things. I was asked about force proportions, not full area or relative mode or user preference. They're bringing in garbage stuff. Again, good graphics, but we're going over the same topic over and over, but not getting to the meat of it, right? I love this graphic. I'm not sure. I think it's good that it mentioned it, but I'm not sure where they're going with this. Again, building a slide that looks pretty, but we're not getting to the meat of what to do, what the problem is. And nothing that I say about updating drivers or convert, it's hallucinating the entire way through. Again, we revisit the same topic, how to get force proportions to be set up in the driver. They made up a user testimonial. They hallucinated this. Adjusting force proportions helped me reduce hand fatigue without compromising on drawing accuracy. It's essential for long creative sessions. No one said this. They just made this up. So I think it's kind of tasteless to do that. Again, we talk about integrate with other welcome features. It does not integrate with other features. It's complete hallucination here. This, I have to give it a split rating. In terms of looks, I give it an A. It's a pretty slide deck. It's nicely done. I like the graphics. In terms of quality of content, it's a D. It didn't touch upon the topic in a reasonable way. It gave me slop. So I think that is a problem. That is a real problem. So it's not like, I don't think I showed Claude. What did Claude do? Claude gave me not a super attractive deck. I'd give it a C or D rating for the look of the deck. But it captured the detail correctly of what I actually had in the document. Okay? So it was semantically, the meaning is correct. Everything here, I could actually use this deck. I wouldn't use the graphics or the formatting, but I can use the content. So in terms of actually giving me something I can use, I give it a straight up A. Looks D. It's just not that good looking. But in some ways, I think Claude is actually the winner here. But the reason I want to talk about this is don't trust AI to summarize topics, especially when it's a niche topic. They don't know how to do it well. And some of the AIs are really bad. They're really, really bad. Yeah, Albert, right. Blatant lie. They're absolutely blatant lies. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Okay. So that was my little AI experiment. A few other things I want to talk about. XP Pen did release a new tablet. I just want to go there to their site and give me a second. I'll get there. I think all of you know about it, but just in case you don't, let's make sure you do. Give me a minute. XP Pen. Yeah, it's a 27-inch display. Artist Pro 27 Gen 2. So 4K display, 120 refresh rate. I think the reviews of it are pretty good. The only review that I think gave some pause was Brad's, because I think he liked the overall device, but the specific unit he had exhibited a lot of pointer lag. Now, he actually contacted me and we were talking about testing it. I gave him a suggestion to try testing it with a different device. I think maybe the device he got, that specific unit, was maybe had old firmware or something is wrong with it, because no one else seems to be pointing out the lag. We can't see the lag, at least in the way Brad describes it in other videos, but he experiences it. So I think either, I think there is some, because he tried on different machines, one of which did not have XP Pen drivers, and he saw a lot of lag in both cases. So maybe he'll sort that out with XP Pen. But if you're going for 27 inches, this may not be a bad one. It's a little expensive. And it does have touch, by the way. It does have touch, which is useful for something that costs as much as it does. Which, let's take a look at the cost. It's a little expensive, yeah, $1,700. The list price is $1,900, so it's discounted to $1,700. I personally would not get a 27-inch monitor. I have one. I have a Cintiq Pro 27. It's just too big for me. I think some people really prefer this size, but I would not do it. I would not do it. That's my take. But it seems to be a pretty good tablet, honestly. At least based on the reviews from like TO, etc. Let's see. And let me double check to see if I have any other things coming up here. I think that's it. I could talk about Clip Studio Paint 5.0 features, but I'll probably do that for another day. I really wanted to show you this new UI I did for exploring tablet driver UI, right? So that was the crux of what I wanted to focus on today. Hopefully you got, oops, let me move my display capture out of the way here. I hope you enjoyed that. It was certainly fun for me to develop, and I have more coming. And I've taken down notes for all the suggestions. I will start implementing some of these and let you know how they work. We'll cover them in future streams. And okay, I think I'm going to call that a stream today. I think, let me just double check. I don't think this is a super long stream I've gone through. Yeah, only about an hour and a half. Okay, with that, I'm going to say good night, everyone. It's great always having you on stream. I'll see you all soon. Bye. And let's